Welcome back, everybody. It was a long time since the last time, but God wanted me to give a message now to the Muslims, to the Jews, for the Christians, but also for the Scandinavian countries. And it's a very important message from God. So let's begin. When you look out in the society today, many people nowadays, feel a little bit of fear and truth that this is the end of human living on earth as we know it. And it is true. It is the end of time. And I can say exactly how many years, and I will not be the only one predicting this, as another one have done it called Satguru. But as he said, I have a plan. But from our perspective, God have a plan. And this video is just about that, to acknowledge first that this is the truth. It is the end of how we know it. For some, it's next year. For others, it's 18 years from now. For Arabs in Palestine, it feels like it's now the end of time. But what I want to tell you is what is the plan of God and how to make the best of it, and how to understand the grace of it, and how to use that dragon fire and transform yourself to the highest potential and to God. And another question is it the same advice for everyone? Should everyone go the same path to God? Or is it meant that we find our own path to God? And you will see it's much more than you think. In this time when everything needs to expand, first it needs to be destroyed and then build up again in a much purer way of being almost godly. So let's begin with the first. What is the plan of God? No, I will not say that, this or that book said this or that. No, I will say directly to you what God's plan is, what God has said to me. God's plan is to revive you, to transform you, to make that rough diamond as you are shine and being that beautiful being and soul you truly are. But first, you need to go into that fire, feeling that hardness and toughness of life, that which makes you feel, I am dying. It's too much. You see, it's so much for the ego to handle. So we can fall down and feel depressed, loneliness, worried about this time and situation, or even challenges around you. But here, in that situation, in that time, when you have fallen deep down in the shadows, but from here, you can begin over without overtaken by your strong ego. It feels like death. It feels like you really are dying. You are weak. Your barriers are down. And it's like you are on a funeral and be taken off all emotion and feels like the time has stopped. The walls are down. You feel open. And you feel open to life because death was so close. You can even feel the breath of death very close to you. But it touches you. It helps you becoming in love with life, as it's something to adore and being awe to. And even the small things you didn't notice, you notice. Because of this, you will need to finding tools to strengthen you. So you will find tools like meditation, yoga, prayer. And you choose one day, hopefully, that you want to come closer to God in whatever way you choose. You see, men of humans don't do this and need to meet their karma, so to speak, their seed which never was watered. For example, are you a Scandinavian country like Sweden, Finland, Norway or Denmark, which as a whole consciousness is pretty much without God or spirituality? The darkness is taken over by consumerism or other destructive hobbies, for example. And for example, these countries have got so much chance to revive themselves, but their skepticism and criticism against religion and other spiritual practices have been on hold so long, and God will not tolerate it anymore. And they have not seen the grace of how they have lived compared to other poor countries because of their good karma. Because you live, as the Buddhist, the Tibetan Buddhist has said, you live as gods, or in the God realms, but on earth. You live on others' work day and night for cheap labor on Africa or other countries like China, like clothes for H&M or iPhones or whatever. But it has come a time that you have missed the big picture and you used that grace and ignore that, and instead being left by criticism, skepticism and hardness of the heart, and even bring harm to yourself. And you also have left each other. Everyone is for themselves and are alone. If they need help, they ask the government. But let us not go deep in this. This was just an example, but also a warning. Because the wrath of God will come to these countries, bringing change, bringing fire. But grace is behind it. But the grace will and is hard to see behind the wrath and will of God. Let's continue. How to do when the walls are down and the enemy come. Let's just be clear. It's not your enemy, but for now it will be seen as that or in the future. So what will you do when you see the fire around you? For you, it's chaos on earth and you might die. What will you do? Because you have no God, so your worries get on high levels and don't know anything but survival. Because faith, it's not there. And courage coming from God is not there either, or even love of God. So what to do when you are in the future situation, in this chaos and wars? I recommend you from the highest guidance that you bring back yourself, make space in the room, feel that death around you, but also feel that life around you, and say in your purest and most hardest and purest voice of the soul, "Oh God, I have not believed in you or prayed to you or even tried to understand you, but I want to have that chance from now on, from the deepest corners of my heart. Let me live so I can serve you." Not creating dogma and force other people serve you as I want, but with open heart search for the truth, taking out the best of all other spiritual tradition, understanding my ego and personality with tools you have given us through Enneagram. And I will, with all of my heart and soul, find you within and without. Let me live, let me live, let me live. Let me transform in the image of you in me. Let me find that truth about life, about you. Let me scale of my patterns of my ego, so I can become only the core, without the onion layers I have created, I call personality, with all its self-defense mechanisms. Let me be in your service, always, by your will, grace, love and wisdom. Let me be hopeful again. Let me have faith in you. Let me have aspiration. Let me live. Grant this blessing, or let the fires consume me, because with you, with me, I have everything. Let me live, let me live, let me live. So, by this prayer from God, you will see if you are worthy of living. If it's from the pure part, you will see, and if not, you will also see. I hope this doesn't seem hard, because it's not hard. This is grace of God, but in the forefront, it is the wrath of God, putting down its boundaries and chaos to teach the wild and spoiled and ignorant children something. The wrath of God is like pawns on the chessboard and the rest, but the king and queen is the grace of God, which is the planners and the highest truth and reality. Behind that, which seems hard, it's love. But from that power and will and wrath of God, but love have never left it, because it's purely from God. And you take this physical life as horrible to see wars and suffering, and for good reasons. And of course we should be compassionate. But the eyes of God, who sees all life you lived at the same time, all the timelines at the same time, all the eternities at the same time. Also God see what is needed and what is needed to change for the next evolution of humanity. And for God, isn't death horrible? Because for God, death is illusion. Rather, the death of what you used to be, or thought you be, or had. So God wants you to transform and find Him and yourself again. And that's why you feel lost. Or God tried to make you feel lost and not believe you understand everything, because then He will destroy that which you made truth, which are a lie. From lost you can be found. From believing you know it all, have it all, nothing can be found. Rather, much will and can be destroyed or taken away from you, because it's not true. Or rather, to put more water in your full glass, then we need to take out all the water from the glass to put much newer, clearer water within the glass. When you know you own nothing, have nothing, are nothing, God can create much more for you, and in you and outside of for you, because you know it all is God, own by God, and are in God's mercy and grace and love and His will. From that humility come forward, but also manifesting qualities you have naturally within your soul, and you will see. Should everyone go to the path to God? No. God have laid you to many different religion and spiritual paths to let you find your own truth and path. What was not in God's plan was the dogmatism. So what is that? Dogmatism is that everyone, this is what's said in my book, and I don't do the practice you do because I cannot learn from you. You should learn from me. And this is childish. As mostly Abrahamic religions stand out in this childishness, but also others, but also the science religion, which has been brought out as dogmatic religion. When your child don't see your own truth as a parent, but only say what she thinks is right, and she don't want to listen and scream, it's my truth, and just want to have it her own way. Isn't this childish? More grown-up way is to really understand that other person's perspective and your own in a deeper way. Not just what you read from a book, you say it's true, but you understand the essence of the teaching by experience, as an adult have experience. But when we don't want to learn from others, we're doomed to fail or rather make many mistakes, and then wonder why my religion don't work in all planes of life or answer all my questions. Then it's always a priest or imam or a rabbi who think they know everything and come with an intellectual answer, which seem very logical and sometimes not. But I say to you, if you want to succeed and make the Quran the way, rather than staying in a limited spiritual path, then learn from others. But you can still be a Muslim, or a Jew, but you can learn from a yogi. Why don't I say this about, say, New Age, New Agers, or they call themselves spiritual people? But yes, they are open to all knowledge, and sometimes, the negative or the trap is they miss their goal, to be one with God, or get caught in healing processes or exercises just to feel okay and not depressed. But what everyone can learn from them is their openness, but learn also their mistake, not missing their goal, and still being in your own religion and make it better. But if you find a rabbi or imam or a priest who says, like, for example, Yogananda said to a man, "You have a bitter taste in your mouth, right?" And the man answered, "Yes, how did you know?" Yogananda answered, "I'm equally much in you as I am in myself." Do you see? Or Jesus, when he said, "I am that I am." In that moment he was one with his Father. If you find a rabbi or imam or a priest who says this, or a yogi, whatever, and have much moment in this, then you should listen to him and follow him, because it's that moment they are one with the Father, or one in the oneness with God of all there is. Let's continue. What to do when you feel lost and not knowing where to start? I always recommend a slow pace by meditating on your breath and doing a sort of yoga stretch, but more focused on each chakra, as some use. And there you begin with the root chakra, survival chakra, grounding yourself, feeling secure. This is the first one, and much can be blocked here. Then you go up stepwise to stepwise, one each every month. But this must be a focused effort to unblock the emotions and thoughts and survival mechanisms you have in each chakra, which you have blocked yourself to be you. And then, depending on who you are, you should have a focused practice on the throat chakra, third eye, or the crown chakra. In yoga they call it Vishuddha, Ayana and Sahasrara chakra. Or we can learn from the yoga. Every chakra is a classroom to be step by step till you reach oneness with God. And do this even if you have other religions, because it's so advanced, it's so magnificent. But if you don't want to, you can do another alternative. Say that you're Christian and it's much focused on worshipping Jesus or Yeshua from the heart. Then be obsessed all day in your heart, focused here. Breathe in and breathe out, and breathe in and breathe out. Whenever you remember this during the day, just focus and breathe in and breathe out. So you instead of doing breathing unconsciously, you do it consciously, but within and without your heart. And the heart will expand. And you will see what you will create within your heart. And that will be, they can be very, very effective and very advanced and very close to God, more and more. And for them who are, example, Muslims, focus all your energy and feelings within your throat chakra in prayer, or just being obsessed in your daily life to breathe in and breathe out in your throat chakra, to make you clear and subtle and more refined. It's like the fire you have coming into the space and being used to refine that diamond, that rough, dirty diamond you have in your throat of willpower, but also purer in your communication and faith, and also get in more deeper communion with God. If your example you, then you should breathe in and out in your daily life when you remember in your third eye. Why? Because you have been blind for a long time, and you need to use the power you have in a more intuitive, inner seeing perspective, and in this way you will evolve. Before continuing, let's stay focused and clear about what information this is from. I daily work on my ego and path, and some days I don't, because I have a free will to feel pity about myself and have many hardships and challenges like you. But this information is not from my personal truth or ego truth, but rather it's a truth from the highest place in the worlds and beyond. It is the truth, and I know it's hard to say this because if people say, God said this to me, how can any challenge that? But I am not the people. I am sense like you with hardships and challenges as a regular normal person, and have hardships when I was younger not many didn't need to have. But this is why I live. This is my mission for God. This is my dharma, my truth, my way, my path. But everything is for God's truth should come out, and His will, and be known by all, and of course His wisdom and His divine help in the end of time. So that's it. So let's continue. I have prepared a way in which you can handle life, which can come to many. Even if you would have been suffering pain in your body, I will give you this wonderful example, even if you're in horrible pain. And this is of course if it's possible to do it in this way. But in a more extreme situation, you can skip some step like the intention. But let's do this in a fully but in a shorter time. So when you practice this, it should be longer. But let's start. So first, close your eyes and sit comfortable if you can. Otherwise, lay on your bed if you really must. And we consecrate all the fruits and effects of this meditation to God 3 times. Let's do it the second time. I consecrate all the fruits and effects of this meditation to God, the highest consciousness. I give all the fruits and effects of this meditation to God, the highest consciousness. Now we make your intention to be one with God, to see it clearly, visually, intuitively, or with your feelings or thoughts. So we take a minute and make your intention. Then take your nail and pinch yourself like you really feel hurt and you feel pain. And then you close your eyes and you focus on that spot which you pinched, which you have your pain. So focus here for a while, just on that spot. Now pinch yourself again on the same spot and close your eyes and focus again just a little while on the same spot which the pain is coming from. And now we do on a new place, and focus there. And ta om den. And now we pinch ourselves in a new place, like on the hand or whatever. And then close your eyes and you feel the pain from this new place. And you feel the pain now from the new place. And now you can slowly come back and open your eyes and move your toes and fingers. So you see, when you go into this pain, it's like opening a vortex of consciousness. And in that space, it's like a cosmic void. And you can go deeper and deeper in this space and finding the pearl of God. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. But when you go deeper and deeper in that space, you will see you can, for each time, you can go deeper and deeper. And at the end, we will find that pearl. So you see, even if you have pain, if you are in a hospital, you can still meditate on that pain. Even if it can be very, very hard. But you can still make that pain, that horrible pain, make you as a path to God. You see, paths to God is everywhere. And we end here, and I give thanks for listening and being here, and I hope I see you next time.